Hey everybody, welcome to my production breakdown on Novel Girl. If you haven't heard the song or you want to add it to your playlist or anything, all the links are going to be in the description. You can watch the video there, you can go find it on Spotify and Apple Music and all those good places. But let's just dive straight into this. So, to begin our production breakdown, I want to take a look at the drums first, because that's kind of how the song opens. The song opens with the snare and with just this whole drum part. So let's take a listen. She's a novel girl. All right, so all of these sounds are book sounds, hence the name Novel Girl. And I actually have the books with me right now. These are the books. So our bass sound, the boom, is this. That's our bass sound. Our snare sound is this. And then the rest of the sounds are done on this teeny little notebook. And so we've got our roll, which is just flipping through paper, basically. Kind of like that, except better. And then when this introductory part really begins over here, Novel Girl, we've got a hi-hat and a sizzle that come in. And so the hi-hat is just this paper, and I'm just flicking it. That's our hi-hat sound. And then for our sizzle sound, I took the top part of this and just dragged my finger along it. She's a novel girl. So like that. And so they all come together, and I think you'll be able to hear each one of those individual sounds now. So it was really, really fun to put that together, actually. I really enjoyed that. You'll notice that the snare sound is a little thin, and I did a lot of work to try to make it sound even less thin than it already is. And so like right here, we've got some saturation and a limiter, we've got compression. All of these things are working to try to fatten up that snare sound. Same thing with the bass. You'll notice I've got the same saturation, and I've also got a compressor on here. And the rest of these, of course, are all processed a bunch. And actually, maybe we'll take a listen without all of these. It'll be a little quieter, certainly, but it'll sound a lot weaker, I think, without. It's just kind of a little sad, you know what I'm saying? And so, boom, 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 with all of these applied, just kind of stands out a little bit more. It's more interesting to listen to. And you know, I'm still learning some mixing techniques, but that's what I've got there. And then let's take a look at the vocals next, because this is probably, I think vocals are hands down always my favorite part of a production to do, because they just come together so nicely. So let's take a listen to this part of the chorus and just. It just sounds so cool. I just love how vocals sound. So here's our lead. This is the main part. Da da da. So, you know, that's standard. Then we've got our third, which is an octave lower. And we've got our fifth, which is also an octave lower. And then we have an octave higher. And then that's all our harmony is. And so if we just listen to only the harmony bits, let's go through and listen to all of these. Oh, you see me now. Which I think is so cool. It came together so well. I'm really happy with how these vocals turned out. And you're going to notice that the vocal production in the verse is very different. So let's take a listen through the verse, and I'm going to kind of talk through my thought process here. And we'll take a look at both verses too.
Every glance just
so we'll start right here.
Taking pages.
So we open with just the regular vocal.
Every glance just gets
And there you can hear the doubles on the left and right side. And here they come back.
Don't you see me? Don't you see
And then we've got a harmony as well. And so I like doing vocals like this, where the main melody is always there. The main lead vocal, this part right here, is always there. But then you always have these left and right bits that come in to accentuate certain lines. So like right here.
Please
just the
fill
lead
my
vocal,
memory.
then it expands.
Don't you see me? Don't you
And then there's
see
the
me
harmony
laying
to kind of add emphasis to certain words, and it makes your vocals sound a lot more interesting. And then for our second verse over here, here it is. This verse is a lot more upbeat, and so you can see the doubles are always there. The doubles are present to make this feel bigger.
sitting in the thunderstorm.
And then the harmonies pop in to say a couple words here and there. And so I think that's really cool. That's a way I've also differentiated the first verse from the second verse. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I think we're done really with discussing the vocals. So let's take a look at that real quick. Let's zoom out. So for this first verse over here, it starts out really, really basic.
From your book, every glance
It's just the bass guitar and it's just my voice. And then after that, everything comes in and makes the latter half of that verse really, really fun to listen to.
memory. Don't you see
Which is
me? Don't you
right
see
here.
me laying in my bed at night?
So that verse very, very clearly develops. But even from that verse to the second verse, the second verse takes everything from the chorus and kind of leaves it. It hits the ground running.
Sitting in the thunderstorm.
And so now you've got the way more upbeat drums. You've got the snare in here as opposed to previously there was no snare. And then in the latter half of that verse, you bring back in the sizzle part.
What are you thinking? Torrents blow my mind away.
And so the progression from the first part of this verse to the second part of this verse is a lot less dramatic than in this whole first verse section, but it's still there. And so I'm hoping that by doing that, I've created a sense of progression throughout my song that makes it more interesting for a listener to just make slight differences, make it feel like your song's actually going somewhere. And then towards the end, the whole song completely changes and it goes into 3/4 instead of 4/4. And for this whole section, I do a lot of different things. So first of all, I want to go take a look at the snare. So let's zoom back in. And our snare sound, all of my snare was recorded really close to my microphone. So this is my mic, kind of right there. So for this section, I brought it further out and mixed in a sound of it far away with it close, which is this track right here. And I added some reverb and made it sound all nice, and I think it turned out really cool. So we'll take a quick listen right there.
Learn one day what that look meant. No.
And if you listen to just the snare, you'll notice just how cool it sounds. It's huge. And it was just this random plate reverb that I found from Arturia that I think just sounds really, really cool there. And so that's kind of what changes in the drum production there. And then you'll notice that vocals are very, very minimal. It's just the lead vocal until the very end where the final chorus kind of kicks up. And then I want to talk about the guitar real quick just because we haven't. So the bass sound is just a regular guitar, but in post brought down an octave, which is kind of funny, but it sounds really, really good. And then there's the arpeggio that I played. And this also has that same plate reverb applied to it to make it just sound a little bigger, fuller, nicer. And then there's the strumming, of course. So I think the guitars came together really, really nice, really cute. And then this whole final section just combines everything. And that's production on Novel Girl. Really pretty not too complex, but there are a lot of tracks here and a lot of effort placed in the vocal production. And if you want to listen to this song anywhere, just check the description. There's links in the description. I'll put the little card right here so you can watch the music video if you want to check that out. And yeah, go add it to your playlist or something. I think you'll like listening to it. But all in all, this is a song that I'm really, really happy with. Probably my strongest production to date. And it was super fun to put together. So I hope you found this interesting and maybe learned something about the production that you wanted to learn. And thanks for watching.